Now let's move on to the accusative case. This is kua versus kas. Now when we translate that into English, we get what and what, because they mean the same thing. Now if we were going more into linguistics, then we could describe these words actually as subject and object. Now, if you've never heard what a subject or an object is, it's okay, it's a linguistic thing. Let me explain what these mean. The subject, or kas, or essentially what, is the noun that is doing the action. So it is the noun which is doing the action. Then the kua, or object, is the noun that the action is happening to. So both of these represent nouns, both are the what, but one is doing the action and the other is having the action happening to them. Now for example, the cat cleans John. The cat is the kas, or the subject, and John is the object, or the kua. The cat is doing the action is cleaning, and John is having the cleaning happening to him. John is now kua, so he requires the accusative case. In English, we don't have different versions for the accusative case. If you're eating pizza, you're not eating pizzu. But in Latvian, they do have a difference. They have a different declension, they have a different suffix for the accusative case. Kakis, tira, which is clean, Jonu. Wait, Jonu with a U? Yep, names are still nouns, which, again, person, place, or thing, and they follow the same rules. Now let's look at this chart to understand why Johns became Jonu. These are the kas and kua noun declensions. We have kas, kua, then we have, remember, our nominative base, and then our accusative. Now let's learn how to convert our suffixes. Let's look at the first declension. Johns is nominative, and we find the first declension, remember, singular and s right here. Then when we want to make it into an accusative, then we travel down the first declension, we find singular again. Now we're in the accusative section, so we find singular, and it is now a u, and that tells you what the new suffix is supposed to be. So we have accusative jonu. It doesn't matter if it's an apple, if it's a person, if it's a name, it still matches the same rules. Now let's start on the second declension. It's going to be the same thing, focusing on these suffixes. What if John was cleaning the cat? Well, the cat is kakis. So remember, kakis ends in is, so we're looking at the second declension. The cat is still singular. Second declension though, we go down to the accusative section, we find singular again, and now we have I, not you, but because it's the second declension, we have I. Johns, who is now our nominative, because he is doing the action. Tira is the same verb, and then kaki is now our kua, is now our object, because the cleaning is happening to the cat, which means it's not kakis anymore, it is ka-ki. But what if there are multiple cats? Then it would be Johns, still singular because John is still singular. He is still our kas, he's still doing the cleaning, but now there are multiple cats, so we have to find our multiple still in the same declension. We find kakus. Johns, tira, kakus. So why? This chart is huge, this chart is complicated. Why bother with all of these crazy declensions? Well, it's to simplify the sentence structure, so that Johns tira kaki, tira Johns kaki tira Johns, tira kaki Johns, and kaki Johns tira. Those all mean the same thing. Because of the information that we've put into the word, we know what is happening without having to make sure it's in the correct order. It seems like a lot to learn, but as you keep practicing, it will become second nature. Now let's practice with syns ed. So we have our nominative, our dog, and he's eating. But when we add what he's eating, it has to be kua, it has to be the object, because the action is happening to these things. Now these are all currently in nominative case, but because the dog is eating them, the action is happening to them, we have to make them into accusative case. So syns ed, body ba, let's find a, fourth declension, nominative, and we go down and we find body bu, body bu. Then we have seers, s, first declension, go down, and we find u. So sieru. Mais, we find fifth declension, e, down to I, maisi. Then bumbiris, just like kakis, is, second declension, we go down to find I, so bumbiri. Aboli. Wait, there's no I up here, but it's in nominative, so it must be plural. But then, how do we know which declension it is in? Because these are all the same, first, second, and third. We know it's masculine, but we don't know what else. Well, that's okay in this case, because when we go down, it doesn't matter. All of them are US. So, despite not knowing exactly what the declension is, we know it must be abolus. Bietes, this is also, it's not up here, so it must be plural. Fifth declension, es, and then it goes down to es. Yep, because in this case, it's the same. As, es, es. And so it is bietes. So this is additional just to help you maybe remember. If it's confusing, just skip over this, but this can help you maybe start to see a couple patterns. To me, the first and fourth declension, so over here and over here, they're quite similar. They are both very common declensions, and also, as you can see, they both turn into u, just like this. They also follow a similar pattern to adjectives, where masculine adjectives end in s, and feminine adjectives end in a, so they match that. Additionally, the second and fifth declension, to me, are also fairly similar, because they both become I in accusative, and so they're kind of like, they're not as common as the first and fourth, but they're both the number 2, and they do similar things and similar weird things. You can also remember that all the masculine declensions become US in the plural accusative case. They also are all the same. They become I in the plural nominative case. Then you might want to remember that the fourth and fifth declensions, they both just add an S. So we have A, and then in their plural accusative form, it's AS. In the plural accusative fifth declension, it's just add an S as well. Now, as a side note, the sixth declension also has an S, so if remembering maybe that accusative, they all have S's, that can help. So if none of that made sense to you, it's okay, it doesn't matter, it's not telling you anything new, it's simply to try and help you remember, but obviously if it's confusing you, don't try.